Hello, my name is Wilberto Torres. I'm the owner of Packbrain, packaging consulting firm. In this video, I will be talking about the three top factors that cause operational failure in packaging. This could apply also to manufacturing, but my focus will be in packaging. So I hope that you enjoy this important video. The three factors are human error, not following procedure, and equipment failure. What is the impact of these three causal factors on packaging? Without human interaction, procedure to follow, and equipment for execution, it's not possible, complete the packaging process. So, this means that if we don't have control of this factor, the operation will fail. So let's combine the first two in one. So human error with no following procedure. Why this? Most of the time, the human error came because they are not able to follow the procedure well. But the question that I have is, are those procedures well defined? The answer of this question is the key success for operation. So I will mention a couple of points here where the company should pay attention providing information to their employees to avoid this situation. The first one that I want to mention is we need to have well-defined procedures. And when I say well-defined procedure, we need to have operation details. This is really important that you provide those details to avoid what? Confusion during the execution. If you provide good detail, operator will understand properly and much better, right? And they will have the opportunity to reduce that human error. The second one is well-defined quality attribute for inspection. Most of the company, or to say all the company, during the manufacturing process, they need to do an inspection, the quality inspection that will require to understand if the product that you are developing is following the regulation or the procedure that you define to have a successful product in the market, right? So have a well-defined quality criteria procedure will avoid assumptions. And most of the time during inspection, the assumption could be a big killer for your production, for your product. And then when the consumer take that product, will not be with the specification that you really want to have. Okay, this will cost you a lot of money and reducing sales and all those kind of stuff. So this is really important. Also, you need to understand capability of the manpower that you have across the organization. Not all the packaging procedure require the same capability, and this is really important. Um, when when you have a packaging procedure for X product, that doesn't mean that the B product will be the same procedure. So if you have a different procedure or capability required by your employees, you need to understand properly the capability of each one of them. So you can understand in which stage of the packaging process this employee or this operator should be assigned. This is really important. If you don't understand those capabilities, you will assign an operator to a task that will be really difficult to achieve properly, and that will cause failures in your operational standpoint. Okay. The other one that I want to mention is training. Training is really important. We talked about in the previous one capability. Okay, if you don't understand those capability or if operator have multiple capability and really well trained, they will perform better. And you can use them to multiple tasks. So for example, you have an operator that is really good doing X procedure, but you want to have him in other one, you need to have a better training process so he can understand the transference of the knowledge. Okay, So it's really important about this. And you need to take in consideration the frequency on how you continue training this operator. You need to have a good training development frequency program because you are changing operator multiple times. That is really interesting because sometimes you bring new people and they don't receive the well trained process, and then you have issues in the operational standpoint. You have a lot of failures or you have a lot of complaints. So if you have that training program frequency well established, every time that you have a new operator to the line or engineer or any person that will go directly to the uh, procedure for the packaging process of manufacturing, you will not have any issue. Okay. And it's really the last one for me is that establish a rotational program to provide hands-on experience, okay, to employees to avoid an unbalanced knowledge within the organization and their packaging process. So, like I mentioned before, right? You need to understand the manpower capability. You need to have a good frequency program so you can move if it's required something happen in this station, that you have less people working and you need to bring people from other station to this one. If you don't have a frequency good program of training, you will not have a good performance in that station. But if you create a program where you automatically, after a period of time, you change this operator from this station to the other station, or engineer from one department to another department, then you will have a multifaceted operation within the organization, and you will avoid to have operational failures. The third one is equipment failure. Based on my experience, companies focus their attention to deliver the now and don't put effort to deliver the future. Believe me, this is happening and this is really important that stop. Market is getting competitive and companies will require to have more equipment than ever to deliver the demand. So my question is for you, can you be successful with a poor equipment performance? For me, the answer is simple. No, it's no way that you can be competitive in the market if you don't have a good equipment performance. Okay, so remember, packaging is a unique and dynamic operation. Equipment drive that operation. If you don't have a good equipment, you will not be able to be successful in your operation, and definitely you will have operational failures, right? So what should be doing to avoid this equipment failure? Simple. The first one, it's important to evaluate the need of the packaging operation and define the proper equipment capability required. Not always the cost is the best solution. This is a really important to create future thinking habit. Most of the company just focus in deliver now, like I mentioned, and they try to get the best, the cheapest equipment, the cheapest solution. But what will happen in 2 years? You will have so many operational failure, and you will not have capability to be flexible on changing in the future. That at the end, after 2 years, you will not have neither the payback yet, and you need to invest again to provide better flexibility to your operation. And what happens is that you invest something, not thinking in the future, and you are end losing money and don't see any profit about that investment that you did. So remember, not always the cost is the best solution. The second one that I want to mention about below equipment failure is poor benchmarking to understand if the offered equipment is reliable or not for your operation. This one is really hard sometimes because not everybody is willing to open the door of their manufacturing site to share information to allow you to see the equipment how to perform. I receive many calls. Hey, do you think that you know somebody that can introduce me? we can go to their facility, and because I have a customer that is asking me for benchmarking every month, a call about that. So it's challenge, but what we can do, OEMs need to start to provide videos in their website. OEMs should start to participate in podcasts. OEMs should start to participate in conference, but not just doing the marketing of their equipment, just explaining also about the failures, explaining how to avoid those failures. Okay, if you don't have the opportunity to see the machine running, at least the OEM should have a department that can provide the answer to all those questions. So this is really important that you try to get information using the website or web page or the internet, right? Where you can go to multiple pages and try to get this information, or inclusive emails. What about this? Because sometimes you send an email. What about this equipment? Is working well? Ah, yes, it's working well. Oh, okay. But what about if you ask different? Did you see an increase in your operation OEE? Did you see a reduction in the scrap with the raw material? The operator easy to handle? You go directly to the question that you want to answer with your eyes. So if you are not able to see it, so put together a nice email with nice question. I'm pretty sure that people will help you in that matter. The third one that I want to mention is following first two factors mentioned before, right? It's important to have well-trained team to execute proper equipment installation, commissioning, and validation. For me, this is a key success for operation to execute the now and the future. What I mean with this is that sometimes I saw people that just do the installation of the equipment and commissioning and they don't follow up. They never learn about how to do it. They hire companies and this company came and never provided well trained of the engineer at the plant on how the execution was, how the protocol was executed. They never understood properly. They just read the document and signed it to approve it. So it's really important that your company pay attention to commissioning installation process, and understand how everything was executed. And if you have doubt about the engineering thing that work with you during that process, reach out the OEM. I'm pretty sure that they will be willing to help you out and understand how the implementation process was. But remember, train your people so they can understand how to execute properly uh, a commissioning and validation process on land trials. Okay. And the fourth one, equipment must have a maintenance program well defined. OEM will play a big role to define this program. Without maintenance, equipment failure will happen. Simple. So you can have the best equipment in the market right now in your facility. Oh yes, will work for the first year, or maybe let's go a little bit more optimist. Will run for the first year and a half. Oh, without any issue, beautiful. But if you don't have a wind maintenance program, that will start to fail approaching the second year. Okay, and then what will happen? You spend $10 million in this beautiful line, but if nobody know how to do a maintenance to the equipment, your operation will fail and you will never see the return on investment. So it's really important that also you take consideration of that to avoid equipment failures.